Hey, Gabriel Blake,
Hey, Gabriel Jose.
where are we today?
I am currently on my couch with our podcast co host. He's an elderly dachshund who is completely deaf and the love of life.
Do you say that is the love of your life?
He is, yes.
Okay, how does your husband feel about that?
He has noise canceling headphones on right now. It's cool.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So for the time being, he's the love of your life. Okay. So what did we watch today?
You're going to have to pronounce this in Espanol.
Okay, I can do it. What we watched today was Historias Mínimas, that it translated into intimate stories. That doesn't mean the same, but whatever.
It's not nearly as erotic as the English title would suggest.
Exactly. So the reason why I picked this one is because I remember watching it a long time ago when I was trying to explore cinema from other areas. I don't know, like what, 10, more than 10 years ago, like close to 15 probably. Is it the movie is from 2002? Yeah, like 15 is almost 20 years old. And this actually was a bit popular. There was a while that Argentinian cinema was huge in Spain. But this was the only movie that it was relatively big that didn't have Ricardo Darin in the movie. So I felt like
I
just like,
kept waiting for him to pop up, and he never
yeah,
did. I
yeah,
was like, I
like
was
a cameo,
fooled.
like a cameo at the end. It's like, I'm here. This is an Argentinian movie. So I remember that I felt like, wow, this was impressive. You know, it was like the first, I don't know, it was the first Argentinian movie that I felt like, okay, this is different from what I'm used to. You know, and I think that at that point I hadn't watched like too many realistic movies.
Like neo-realism.
Yeah,
You
like
had you hadn't found Dogma 95 yet?
no, I don't think so. I think that I delve into those waters a bit later, you know. But it's like the kind of a style. Is the Italian? Italian is neorealist. The style that we watch the bicycle thieves, the bicycle thief, and everything.
Yes, yes, it was.
Yeah, in this movie, it was like pretty clear that they were going for that kind of authentic, you know, atmosphere more than actual like sophisticated stories. So I felt like, wow, that was pretty impressive, you know. But as it was 15 years ago, I don't know if I was pretty naive, you know, if it actually was good, if it was good cinema, and that's the reason why I wanted to watch it again.
So you watched it in 2002, 2003 sometime.
Yeah, a bit around that time. Yeah,
What do you Okay, so I'll summarize.
sure.
What is the name of the place they were from? Fritz something.
Fritz Roy.
Fitzroy, yes. Okay,
Yeah,
so there's a tiny town called Fitzroy. I
hmm
Googled it. I couldn't find a town in Argentina named Fitzroy, but I did
it
find a
exists.
mountain.
It exists. It's like the village is like next to the mountain, I think.
And that's what I figured, but it's so tiny, Google Maps doesn't know about it. And Google Maps knows where I grew up, so that's saying a lot.
It,
And it follows three characters, and they all have a reason to travel to San Julian,
Puerto San Julián, I think.
yes, which is a town on the coast. And this is all way down south in Patagonia, in Argentina. And it's like the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Um, so essentially, this little town, Fritz, what is
Roy.
it again?
Fritz
Fitzroy.
Roy.
Uh, these three characters travel all the way down out of the mountains to the coast, and the first character is old man who owns the general store of the town, and
Well,
he's very old. And
he's the son of the owner.
no, he's the father of the owner. Or sorry, no, he's the old guy owns it.
Oh, is his property? I thought that it was like the son.
No, because when he went and traveled, they're like, "So what do you do?" And he's like, "I own this store." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I've had lunch at that store." And he's like, "Now my son runs it, but it's mine."
Oh, gotcha. No, that's right. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's an old man who someone tells him he saw his dog, Ugly Face, that ran
Malacara.
away from him, and not ran away, made a moral decision to leave him 3 years ago, and we don't know why. And so he decides to make this huge journey to try and find this dog, Ugly. And then there's what I assume is an illegal immigrant. I can't remember her name, but she keeps saying she's undocumented, she can't go. She wins a prize and she gets to participate in this horrible game show.
Cringeworthy. I mean, horrible.
Yeah.
It's cringeworthy. It's not about like it's horrible. They don't do anything terrible to them.
No, it's just you watch the game show and you want to kill yourself. And then the third character is this traveling salesman who clearly he has a client in the town that I can't pronounce, and he wants to go visit her and buys a special cake for the client's son or daughter. He's not really sure. And the scale of the film is very small, very what you might say intimate.
Mm-hmm.
And you just follow these three on their journeys to and from Puerto San Julian.
Puerto San Julian, that's correct. Yep. And it's not like one of those stories that they are like surprises or twists or how the stories are connected. It's the story of their lives, and the only thing is that they happen at the same time. That's the only thing that they join it. And well, also like the old guy travels for a bit with the salesman, but that's it.
Yeah, their lines kind of intersect a little bit, but it's more about the geographical location, and they all happen to be traveling separately the same weekend.
Yeah, to the same destination.
Yep.
So what do you think of it?
Me first?
Yeah.
I don't know that I liked it. Okay, so the storyline with the old man looking for his dog and the slow reveal about the significance of this dog and the context of what happened in this man's life when he lost the dog, I thought was incredibly beautiful and fantastic cinema, like 100%. And the people that he ran across that helped him get to the end of his journey, I thought they were 100% the best parts of the film. The woman, the biologist who picks him up and drives him for a ways, the people that worked at the road camp that helped him find his dog. Spoiler alert, he ultimately gets reunited with his dog, which was the most wonderful thing I've ever seen.
But it's not his dog.
It's not?
It's not. It's not. So the thing is, like, every single story, it ends up with, okay, you don't get exactly what you were looking for, but you get a glimmer of hope. Is that you get this kind of content, or it's okay, you may be better than what you were before, and you actually share and grew up as a person in the trip, but you didn't get exactly what you wanted. So it's like the girl, he actually goes to participate for getting...
Don't go to that one. Stick with the dog. What did I miss? His dog.
So the miss is like when he actually goes to the house and he's like started to call the dog like ugly face. The dog is ignoring him. The dog is like, I've never heard this in my life, But when the guy comes out, the poor guy comes out of the house, he's like, this dog is called Rat or whatever was his name, and he's like he doesn't want to depart from the dog. He's like he wants to keep it.
Because the dog is judgmental of him, of the old man for what he did.
No, I think that is like basically he doesn't remember it because he was never with him. The other guy doesn't have any reason for lying when he says like I always had this dog. And actually when the other guy intercedes and he's like, oh, just wait around there. He's like, okay, how much more did you want for the dog? He's like he knows that dog is from that guy. He knows, and he knows that it's like he needs to offer a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money, 50 pesos is nothing. I mean, probably at the beginning of this podcast was a bit more than what it is right now, given the inflation that they have. It's like at the beginning was $0.0001, and now it's like $0.000001. But
so was it 50 pesos?
I think so.
In the subtitles it said $50, and I was like, "Holy shit! These people don't have $50. Do not spend $50
exactly.
on that dog."
Exactly, it was 50 pesos. It was like almost nothing, But it's like almost nothing if you live in Buenos Aires. But if you live literally in the middle of nowhere, because that's the whole gist of this story. Like these people live in the middle of nowhere. It's like Okay, I'm not going to be like giving anything away about the other stories, but it's like he's like just trading the only companion that he has in his life for an amount of money that is not that significant. But he doesn't want to get rid of the car of the dog. Is that he's like making like a really, really like I don't know, like a struggle, like some kind of really hard call to say about that. So I
So
felt like it was not his dog.
I felt like the $50 when it said $50, I was like, okay, this is a huge amount of money for both parties. And it actually surprised me that the old man had $50. So okay, this
Nah,
changes things.
yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I guess there's the optimist in me that was like, oh, this old man is going to be reunited with his dog. This is what I want so bad.
So what about the other two stories?
Okay. So the traveling salesman, who happened to be the only professional actor in the film,
Yep, correct.
I wanted to shut the film off when he wouldn't stop talking about it. For a
Yeah,
while it was fine, and then it just kept going and going and going, and I was like, I don't care. Show me any other character. I genuinely don't care. Um, and then the resolution of that when he shows up and all of that effort, it wasn't for like it wasn't wasted because there's a glimmer of hope at the end.
exactly.
But I just felt like this journey I had to go on with this stupid fucking cake, and what I was rewarded with at the end was like a smile from that client saying, "Hey, don't forget me on my birthday." No, not worth it. Not worth the time at all.
Okay. What
And
about
then
the girl?
the final one just broke my heart completely. It was
Yeah,
so he wasn't illegal an illegal immigrant.
I don't think so. They were
Okay,
just like super poor.
so extremely poor. My husband, who's from Argentina, he told me that she clearly was not from Argentina. She
Yeah,
seemed to be
that's
from
correct.
Bolivia or something. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so she's a beautiful young girl who's living in a not a shanty, but a house that she's not even renting. She's just borrowing, and she makes this big journey, and she's really hoping she's going to win the big prize. She wants to win a trip to Brazil, and she participates.
Or I don't know if it's like the trip to Brazil of the food processor. I mean, she's like
She
really excited for the food processor.
okay. So I think the file that I watched this on probably wasn't the best with the subtitles. I understood that the she could win a food processor or a trip to
Or
Brazil,
that's
all
true.
three of them with her boyfriend and their daughter.
Yeah.
So she goes to San Julian, and
Puertas.
um, they never said Porto in the subtitles. Okay,
Okay.
so her part, like, you don't really share time with her on her journey between the time she decides to go and the time she's on the TV show. And then she doesn't, oh, she does win the food processor, and a woman trades her some money and a makeup kit for the food processor
I
so that she
think,
can stay at a hotel, have dinner, and
yeah,
go back the next day.
yeah. I think that it actually trades like, do you remember like the amount of money that they say on the subtitles? I
I
think
think it
like
was
they're
$30 or $35 plus
pesos.
pesos.
Yeah.
See, it all has such a different meaning. I was like, take
Yeah.
the $30, take it.
It's 2002, so you can buy something.
You can buy a car. Um, okay, so let me tell you this, and I do want to give you, obviously, the opportunity to share your opinions. I ended the film not liking it. And I just thought, I don't know what I got from this. It's a little sad. I like the scale. And then I thought, if this were a Kelly Reichardt film, which, no, listen, hear me out.
Okay, okay.
I feel like there's some cultural things that I missed
Yeah,
here. And if this story, the same story were told in like rural America, I would
yeah.
think it was beautiful and thoughtful, and I would be able to relate in ways that I was not able to relate to this.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was watching it because it's true that the Argentinian culture is not exactly the same as the Spanish, but as they consider themselves half European, I could still like relate to the story. It's like I remember like half of it. I remember like the cake. I remember like the guy looking for the dog. There were parts that I had completely forgotten, but I I really like it, but I understand that for some people it's going to be like hard to relate to because it's like the scope is so specific to we are living in the middle of nowhere with almost nothing, but it's the almost nothing of Argentina. It's not the almost nothing of the United States.
Yeah. So
So
I just think like Andrei Rublev, I will never be able to understand that film because I'm not Russian ever. It's just not going to happen for me. So I don't know that I can understand this film. There were parts that I liked. Overall, it just didn't work for me.
gotcha. Did you watch it with Pablo?
No. So I watched like the first 30 minutes with Pablo, and then he left.
Did he knew it?
Yeah, he had seen this film back when it came out.
Gotcha. Did he like it?
He loved it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like, I mean, I also think that I appreciate it in a different way now that I visit that area. You know, it's like I haven't been exactly in Fitzroy or Puerto San Julian, but I've been in La Patagonia, and it's like it's true that it's like completely deserted. It's like it's an area that just driving is a nightmare. It's like basically it's like a straight roads, and it's completely flat with this crazy wind that is like just going on the whole time. It's like people they say that there is like a lot of accidents, so people are just falling asleep on the road.
Did you drive there from Buenos Aires, or you flew and then drove
I
around?
flew. I flew and I actually, like just did a couple of tours and that kind of stuff. So it's like I'm not familiar with that specific part, but I'm familiar with the Patagonia as the kind of geography that they have. So it's a gorgeous place, but at the same time, it's a very arid, not welcoming area. It almost feels like you are against nature living there. It's almost like these people that they live in areas that they're going to have tornadoes all the time
Ugh.
in the States. That is like maybe nature is telling you don't live here. It's like the
Move
very
out of
not
Oklahoma. Move
yeah.
out.
It's like that's the non-subtle way of nature telling you is that you shouldn't be living here. Like just leave this area alone. So there's a similar feeling with the Patagonia. And it's the feeling about like those people that they live in the middle of nowhere, that they have basically nothing, and they are like just trying to find some kind of hope, or like just growing in some kind of way. And I really like. It's true that one of the stories is weaker than the others, but I think that the idea of using non-actors, using like real people, it's true that in some scenes may feel a bit like cringe-worthy about like, yeah, this person doesn't know what he's doing at all. There is like this scene with the salesman when he's talking with the other guy in the cafe, in the
Oh, that
cafeteria.
guy.
Yeah,
Poor man.
there is like, this guy, come on, there has to be other people that they can act a bit more than this guy. This guy is like just trying to repeat something, and the actor, the only professional actor, is like just speaking over because the guy doesn't know what he's saying at all.
Because neorealism.
Sure, but that's the problem that I have. Is another I watch it again. It's like the story of the salesman putting a serious actor in that role. It changes everything for that story. It's like it's pretty obvious, it makes it like more obvious. It's not like, well, he's the guy from Buenos Aires that is cool, hip, and knows his ways in the world. It's like, no, this guy supposedly is from this area too, and this guy is like completely different, like from anyone else.
When he pulls out the book, which I assume is like selling for dummies, and he talks about how it changed his life, I was just like,
Yeah, so I feel like the other two stories feel like more authentic and more intimate per se. That one feels more forced, more out of place, more like I get it. You want to do a story about love, and this guy like just traveling around, but it's true that a salesman has to be versed on just talking with other people. But when the comparison is with this other salesman that he had a hard time completing a single sentence on the screen, is that these are a completely different world. So, but I love the neorealism, like the idea of everything feeling authentic, feeling like, okay, this movie just tries to be like an open window towards that world, towards like just living there and the reality that they live in there. So I appreciate it from the perspective of the small stories of the old guy and the young woman. But I also appreciate it from the perspective of of the reality that it displays. It's like it feels accurate, it feels authentic, it feels like it has some kind of heart on it.
And what do you think about, and I could have understood this wrong, but I feel like all of these very small town characters who didn't seem to have any real aspirations were
Yeah.
constantly watching television basically from the future. Like when the salesman who beats the cake to death after he sees the woman with another man, he sits down on his bed, and at least according to the subtitles, they were talking about the futures of robotics and nanotechnology. And the old woman in the bakery that ruins Renee's name, she's constantly staring at these very like sophisticated people in the telenovela. And I felt like there was this like, no,
Well, but that's look. That's the funny thing is like, and I think that there's a reality too. That is like if it was like a story set in rural America is going to be like watching television, and it's going to be
yeah,
like
of
watching
course.
television. Of course, well, because it's America, everyone's going to be like watching television. But if the kind of television that they'll be watching, it could be putting more in evidence the difference between their level of life, the level of richness or whatever, and the average in America, in the United
Yeah,
States.
I absolutely believe that. I mean,
Yeah,
people in rural Idaho were watching Desperate Housewives, these like
that is
women
exactly the
investing
opposite.
in thousands of dollars in mansions and didn't
Yeah,
have to work because they
yeah.
just,
That's the same situation here. Is like they're going to be like watching the TV, but the TV is going to be like just talking about that or showing that. Is that you will be watching the same thing regardless if you live in Buenos Aires, if you live in Salta or you live in Puerto San Julian. It's the same thing.
yes, I'm not saying that it's different because it's a uniquely Argentine thing. I'm saying, what do you think he was saying with that?
I think that he was just trying to emphasize how middle of nowhere and how poor these people were. How, it's like we don't think about it like living in a cosmopolitan city, but we're pretty lucky. It's like actually watching the movie, I was thinking like, wow, we're pretty lucky about like all the experience that we have at our hands. Not right now, because nothing is at our hands right now, but usually the kind of opportunities that we have, like culturally and just for entertainment, is that these people, there is not a cinema, for example, in maybe 100 miles around.
Yeah, no, I had the same thought. And where I grew up wasn't exactly like that. We had a cinema like 10 miles away, but
Yeah,
it was really rural. And the people there don't typically leave. It's like you're there and you stay there
yes,
forever,
there.
right?
Yeah,
Um, so, like I said, I ended the film and I was like, I didn't like this. And then I had this light switch moment where I was like, oh, this is basically an Argentinian Kelly Reichardt film. And I was like, okay, I get it. Like, there's something
I love
uniquely
it.
Argentinian about it that I can't relate to. And so I can admit that and say that it was probably a better film than I thought it was because I was missing things.
Yeah, no, no, I completely get it. And sometimes it happens to me, when I watch an American film, that is like I may not relate exactly in the same kind of way. I mean, with America, it may be different because with America, we're always exposed to American culture from early ages, and I've been
Because
living
it's
here.
best. Sorry, exceptional.
No, no, because it's cheaper to actually buy your content than doing your own.
Oh, I
Like buying
see.
American content than actually making your own. It's not because it's better. It's because there is more and it's cheaper. Uh, So from that perspective, it's like I can get maybe American, but for example, if you put me a German, middle of nowhere story, is that maybe I wouldn't relate that much about it.
Which I liked that the town was called Fitzroy. Like, salute to
That's
the
true.
Nazis.
Oh, Argentina, yeah. So yeah,
Um,
I really like it, but I completely understand that. The only thing that after watching this, he did another movie with a pit bull, with a guy that adopts a pit bull and start like just traveling around trying to make money with the pit bull fighting and
ensayo.
ensayo,
Oh, bombón, el
bombón
perro.
el perro.
I can't do it. Don't ask me to do it.
Perro,
No,
roll the
no.
R, perro. So that movie, it was good too, but the problem is like it's pretty clear that he has one registry. Carlos Sorin likes to do this, sorry, loves to do this kind of movies about like not, I, I, I don't know if this is the correct term, but it's like not relevant people. They're like common people that they're like going through something, but it's not like extraordinary something. It's like something, like the guy looking for his dog or this woman going to a local TV, like a contest. Is like that's the most normal thing ever. Or the guy like just being in love with this woman. Is like that's completely normal. There is nothing special about it. Is that this is like the same kind of thing. Like, well, this story may be a bit more special, but it's not special enough for just being different. So it's about like just displaying the reality of that area. And he loves the Patagonia because I think that he is from there. So I felt like after watching this movie, I felt like, yeah, I like Historias Mínimas a bit better. I don't think that I'm ever going to be like watching anything else from him.
Interesting. I was just going to ask if you were interested in seeing his other films. He has 16 according to IMDb.
So I mean, I would be okay with watching another one that I haven't watched, but I I don't I think that he's a single note kind of director. I may be wrong completely, and hear the rest of the movies being like completely different, but I don't know, man.
He actually released a film in 2018, and I would be curious to see how he, not that he wasn't mature, but how he matured and grew as a filmmaker and what he has to say 15, 16 years after this.
Yeah, I would be down for watching it, honestly. But it's like I can even look at the poster, and the poster basically spells Patagonia. Yeah.
He clearly, some traumatic story happened to him with his dog, and it breaks my heart, and I want to know what it is.
The other thing is like I think that is a good film, and I think that is like even if you're not from Argentina, if you can actually detach yourself and just try to say, okay, what is this movie telling me? You can still appreciate it. I think, you go with an open mind. You don't expect to just watch it from the same prism as American cinema. But this movie was pretty freaking hard to find.
I was surprised at how hard it was to find. We got it through the DVD.
Yeah, we did. But I was even just looking for shops in Spain about like would it be easy to actually buy it? No, it's not. It's completely out of circulation. I would expect that it's like nowadays everything. It's true that not everything is going to be remastered into Blu-ray, and I'm fine with that. But at least Prime Video having it for renting.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it takes one person, get that file ready, throw it up on Amazon, Netflix, whatever.
Yeah. So yeah. So would you be interested in watching something else by him?
So yes, like I said, I would be interested in watching the 2018 film. I don't know because Bonbon was
No,
in 2004, which is two
it's
years
then as
after
well.
this.
Yeah.
Same setting, and there's the same dog thing.
Yeah, so I think that Bonbon was even more popular than Historias Mínimas, but I think that it was more popular because Historias Mínimas had like a very small distribution in Spain, and Bonbon was like, oh no, no, we know that people like his films, so we're going to go crazy, and that was like everywhere, so it was like way more popular.
Hmm.
I think that is the thing is like I think that when we think about Argentinian cinema, is Ricardo Darin. And it's not that I don't think that he's talented, but like he has like one registry. He does it like pretty well. But like he's that charming, like nice guy. And I'm tired of him. And I was tired at that point in 2002. And he still makes cinema. I don't know if I told you that this year when I was in Spain for a month, I went to the cinema once and I went to watch an Argentinian film. He was in there. In 2020, he was still there in a
He's
movie.
still a big star, man. Bankable. Get those pesos.
Those 50 pesos. But it's like there has to be like more stories to tell. So it was like
So
this is refreshing. It's like it's not in Buenos Aires, it's not a big story, it's not with big actors. It's great.
I have seen a couple of very, very good indie Argentinian films at the San Francisco International Film Festival and
Oh, nice.
Sundance
Oh, cool.
that I have written about on my website.
Was
So I'll
Ricardo
try.
Darin on them?
No, they weren't, or he was
Oh,
not. So,
okay.
and I remember liking them both. And one I went to my sister, or went with my sister to at Sundance, and we both really liked it. I'll dig them up, and maybe we can
Yeah,
watch those. Yeah.
yeah. So, what would be your score?
I'd say 6.
All right, that's good. My score is, I was debating the whole conversation between a 6.5 and a 7, you know, because I still really like it, but it's like artistically, sorry, let's just go from a different perspective. It's a movie that I would recommend. I think that it's a movie
To
that is
whom?
to almost anyone. It's like only, I mean, if you only like
Who,
action cinema, I
who
won't
in your
recommend
life
it
right now would you recommend this to?
to you, to
But
Pablo.
after you've rewatched it and not an
Uh,
Argentine.
People from Spain, I would recommend it to them, but I'm pretty sure that I already spammed them about this movie because I really liked it the first time that I watched it.
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah, and people from America, I think that I would recommend it, but it would take a specific personality for recommending it then too. Because it's like if you like only action and fast-paced movies, like this is not this is not the bullshit touring horse, the touring bullshit horse, but
You bite your Spanish tongue.
but it's not a fast-paced movie. I just leave it there. So I just felt like from an artistic perspective, it's good, but I also had the feeling that it's pretty easy to be good from an artistic perspective when you're shooting there, or you're shooting in this area. And I think that the cinematography, when they're like just choosing the shots, like building the shots, it's still a bit 90s in a very not cool way. About like, oh yeah, you do this kind of oblique, kind of shots, you know, maybe on your face about like, yeah, sure. I didn't see like anything that it was too special, except like where it was shot. That area is amazing, but it's not because the movie was amazing. I don't think that there were like too many shots that I felt like that was gorgeous. There were a couple of them, but
Yeah, he definitely excelled when the camera was on the face of his characters,
yeah,
and they did a lot of close-ups that I appreciated a lot. It felt very Ingmar Bergman.
yeah. And the thing is like just going with no actors, I think that is a really good move for a story like this. It's like it actually is believable. It's like I love the takes with the young girl in the contest when the
Ah,
camera goes to her and she's like just staring, like
and
hypnotized
smiling.
by the camera, like hypnotized, like, hey,
No, that just
hey,
broke my heart. That whole scene, I
I
was like,
love it.
this is so awful.
No, I mean I love it because I can actually relate to that. It's like I mean it's not I cannot relate fully to it, but it's like I'm from a not too rich area from Spain, and we also have like a regional TV, and it's like from time to time you will see like these people that you feel like they are authentic. Is that woman? He was like at the end she trades the food processor for the makeup set because he
And
doesn't
$30
have 30
dollars.
pesos, and because he doesn't have electricity at home.
Yeah, yep. See that is an example where I was just devastated, and culturally that was just supposed to be something else, and I was just like, this is really sad.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know why I thought that the first time that I watched it, I felt like it was even more desolating, more like just heartbreaking, the whole story. And this time I felt like no, there is a glimmer of hope. Every single story is about a glimmer of hope. It's not about like new beginnings or anything like that. It's about like you get something. You put effort and you get something, but it's not a lot because there is not a lot here.
I totally can accept that. The only thing that I will not accept is that ugly face was not his dog. That was his dog.
It was not his dog. I'm sorry, man. It was not his dog. And it actually falls in line with the rest of the stories about like you
Yeah,
only get a glimmer of hope, you
probably
don't
wrong,
get
but I need
everything.
that to be his dog. I
Oh,
need it to be his dog.
no, this land doesn't allow them to be happy. They only allows them to be a bit more content, just to survive, because that's the only thing that they can just aim for, just surviving.
Well, the next time I go to Argentina, I will go to Patagonia, and then I will say,
You should.
no, this is the land of bountiful. That guy got his dog back.
Actually, when I went, I stayed in El Calafate. That is like one of the most common places to stay. It's like there is like a lot of tourists. Everything feels like a North Face commercial, almost like going to a North Beach, sorry, to Russian Hill, where everyone is like just dressing in North Beach clothes. I don't know why, but there was an insane amount of stray dogs just running around, like crazy amount of them. And it looks like people started like just abandoning them then there.
That's Russia, man. They were just in the city, in St. Petersburg, huge packs of dogs, feral dogs everywhere, because they don't believe in euthanizing them. So they just
Gotcha.
breed and somehow survive the winter.
Yeah, this was insane. It's like I thought that like people actually do this trip as some kind of like, okay, I cannot keep my dog, so instead of just giving it up, I'm going to be like just traveling with my dog and letting
Just
him
taking
socialize here, like some kind of this is the dream land for dogs.
He'll be so happy. It's beautiful.
And there were a couple of times because you know that I love walking, and it's like sometimes I'm a bit unconscious about like where I'm walking. And my hotel was outside of the main area, so I had to just walk for a while for getting there. And when I was walking, I crossed paths like so many times with dogs that it's like, if that dog goes crazy on me, I'm dead. It's like I was not afraid about like just being kidnapped and just getting like one of my kidney harvest. It's like no, I was afraid of the dogs.
Yeah, I would have warned you if there were a lot of serial killers in that area.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, no, there are not so many serial killers. So honestly, just go to a Calafate. No, Calafate. Yeah, Calafate it's called, and it's an amazing place. Is that you can do like just very low strain tours. Don't worry, it's fine. You won't die, but you can actually get like a really good feeling about like what it is the Patagonia being there.
As long as there are no hills.
There is no hills. You can just avoid the
Perfect.
hills. Don't worry.
Done. I'll do it. If we
Yeah.
never travel again.
No, this is one of those places that is like I think that I could stay there for a couple of days in Calafate, and then there is other areas around there that people go to do like more trekking, more serious hardcore trekking. That is like yeah, I would love to go there. So this is one of those places that I couldn't mind going back with you guys. You ever like just want to travel together? I would love that.
Oh, we should do that. And then I can see Pablo's family for like 2 days and then we can go.
Yeah. And then we can stay like for 1 or 2 days together, and then I will go to the hardcore area and you can stay there.
And I'll find some vodka.
Huh? No, vodka they have. You honestly, it's like Argentina, the devaluation of the peso is so incredibly insulting that you can eat every single night like if you were a king.
Sounds like Thanksgiving. We've
Yeah.
got Thanksgiving planned.
I told you that I actually, when I went to Argentina, it got to a point that my body told me you have to stop eating like that. Is that you're going to explode. If
I
you can
had
do,
that too, actually. After I had meat and I thought I want to die. Like I'm so full,
yeah,
I can't go on.
yeah. It's like after a couple of days, like just eating like crazy about, okay, I want an appetizer, I want an entree, I want a dessert, that I'm not used to that. It's like I want to eat everything because the food is amazing, but I can't. I can't. My body is actually giving up on this.
All right. Well,
Well, that was great. That was a great conversation. What are we watching this week?
we are
Wednesday?
going to watch Wit, starring Emma Thompson.
Okay.
And just a disclaimer, we might not be able to find this. It was like a smaller film from when I was like 14, 15. So if we cannot find it, we will watch The Five Obstructions.
I think let me just check, but I'm going to be like saying this right now. Oh crap, I don't have it on my laptop. But it looks that it's on Hulu.
Oh, wow. That was way easier than I thought.
Let me just check. No, it's not. I don't know why Google is just pulling me on this.
Apparently it's on, I think it was an HBO original, so we can watch it on HBO with a
Okay.
free trial on Amazon.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, man. That was great. Thank you so much, folks, for listening.
Until next time, wash your hands.
Bye.